Welcome to Hank's Place. Vote. I suggest you vote for the unborn, that they may have their chance at life. Did you know that a baby has its own blood? It's not its mother's. And its DNA is from both parents, not just the woman's. So that little baby is not the woman's body, but another actual person. I suggest you vote for them. Now, in Scripture, Jesus in Luke 19 is en route to Jerusalem for the Passover with great crowds of Jews following him. He tells them the story of a nobleman going to a distant country who first gives a mina to each of his 10 slaves. Each slave receives a mina from the nobleman, and we're told to put the mina to work, not work themselves. When the nobleman returns, he asks what's become of his mina. He doesn't ask how successful they were. It's their faithfulness that he was looking for and that was rewarded. It is the master's mina from his work, and yet the servants reap the benefit. For us, the mina represents the grace of God revealed to us through his Son. Jesus has worked, and our part is to receive what he has paid for. It's grace. For in the economy of grace, as 2 Peter 1:3 says, everything we need for life and godliness is freely supplied by Jesus. The first 2 slaves were commended for their faithfulness, but one slave had a terrible misconception of the heart of God. He returned the mina, describing that master as someone fearsome and demanding and reaping where he did not sow. Are you a little like that, dear friend? Not really knowing the love of God and believing you're measured by your performance here and fearful of judgment to come in heaven? Well, that's wrong. It's time to receive the love of God. It's time to receive his amazing grace for all things. His grace received and shared and sown will reproduce the supernatural life of God and release the favor of heaven all around you. How do we put his grace to work, you ask? Well, I suggest by sharing the good news, by sharing the good things that God has given us. The grace mina of God comes in limitless varieties. The spiritual gifts of 1 Corinthians 12, for one. Your God-given abilities and desires and passions that are uniquely you is another one. The expressions of your Father's character that he has graced you with uniquely and through which he will bless others is a third. Stephen Curtis Chapman wrote a song, The Great Adventure. It begins with him waking up and determining to do better than he did before. And then he realized the Bible told him he was a prisoner, but God's grace had set him free. With that, he saw a great frontier in front of him and a voice saying, "Let's go." Can you see that frontier, my friend? Hey, we've got a trail to blaze in it through that wild blue yonder of God's amazing grace. It's time to follow Jesus into the glorious unknown. Far from long-faced religion, it's a faith-filled adventure. You know, it's what you and I were created for, a life like no other. It's the life of someone who has come alive.